What's up, heathens? How y'all doing? I'm the Godless engineer, and I critically analyze apologists' claims to give you the best arguments and information so that you can stand up and use your voice. Today's video is from the line. We're going to be hearing from a caller that's decided to call in and try to prove either God to us or some other kind of crazy idea. So, if you want to fuck around and find out how crazy this call gets, then please stay tuned. Yeah, I mean, he was pretty good. All right, so we're going to jump to Mike. I'm not sure if we'll be able to get to the atheist caller that we got on the line because we've gone over a pretty good bit. But Mike is a theist, so and we prioritize theists. So sorry about that. The other atheist that we have on the line there, but we got Mike from Ohio. I think that is. What's up there, Mike?
Howdy, y'all. My
Quick
name is
question,
Mike Hawk.
How old are you?
I'm 18, madam.
You're 18?
That's right.
Okay.
Okay, well, at least you're
We'll keep
18.
this pretty clean
but,
then. Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Yeah, what's your question?
If God doesn't exist, what is the purpose of life?
What's the purpose of life?
If God doesn't
Yeah.
exist, what's the purpose of life?
Okay, the purpose of life is whatever purpose I
right.
give it to, which is the same as it is even if there is a God.
I don't understand you. No,
Okay. If there is a God, are you a determinist or not?
am I a determinist? Yes.
Yeah. Did God predestine you to belief or did you choose to believe?
Wow. That's a deep question that you've asked, man. I believe in predetermination and I believe in free will.
Those are mutually exclusive.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
They're not mutually exclusive. I don't think
Can you explain that?
Why Well, God knows what's going to happen, but we also have free will. I mean, how
Okay.
difficult is that to understand?
Did you choose to believe in God?
Did I choose to believe in God?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've got the free will to choose or not to choose. Does that make sense?
Okay.
If I don't want
Yeah.
to believe in God right now, I will.
Okay. Do you
So
believe in God?
Do I believe in God? Of course,
Yeah.
madam.
Mhm.
Okay.
Of course,
And you
of course I
believe
do.
in God because you choose to believe in God?
I believe in God. It's of my own volition.
Okay. And
Okay.
does God give you your purpose?
Does God give me a purpose?
Mm-hmm.
God has given all of mankind a purpose.
Okay. And by choosing to believe in God, you chose to accept that purpose, correct?
No, madam. There's an objective purpose in life outside of my being. Whether I choose to
What is
believe in
that?
God or not, it doesn't
What's
change
that absolute
the purpose of
purpose?
life. Well,
What's that absolute
the
purpose?
reason I called it was if God doesn't exist, what is the purpose of life?
I get what your question was, but what we're asking you is what is that absolute purpose that you're talking about? Like you think that there's a transcendental purpose to life, and it's outside of I guess your religion, or it's just something that's absolutely true. What is that?
Well, it's not just one purpose. That's just, being myopic. There's
Okay.
multiple
So then
purposes
if
to
there
life.
isn't a one purpose to life, then you've answered your own question. There is no purpose to life.
I didn't say there's more than one purpose.
I'm sorry.
I didn't
I
say
just
there's no
asked you what the
purpose.
absolute purpose is to life, and you said there's not just one,
No, but that,
and now you're saying that there is
but
just
your
one.
question, is a loaded question. You're saying there's an absolute purpose. I'm not talking about an absolute purpose. I'm talking there can
Okay.
be multiple purposes,
Okay.
and of
And
course,
we pick and choose
Okay.
which purposes
one of
we
those.
want?
I beg your pardon.
Do we pick and choose which purposes we want?
I think you cut out, madam.
I
Can you
said,
hear
do
me?
we pick and choose? Do we choose which purposes we want?
Well, you have the free will, but that you
So
understand.
yes.
You have free will to choose purpose.
Okay, then that's the answer to your question. Life has whatever purpose you choose
Well,
to give it.
is that the purpose that you define yourself by?
I don't
What?
define myself by a purpose.
You don't define yourself, but surely there must be purpose to life, right?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat
Yeah,
I
I
that?
mean,
do. I
there's
do agree that there's a purpose to life. Yes. And that
yeah.
purpose to
What is your
life is
purpose,
whatever I
ma'am?
choose. What?
Your purpose to life is whatever you choose. Such as,
Correct.
can you
Yep.
elaborate on that? Can you
Okay.
elaborate on that?
Yes. One of the things that I do with my time is I am a CASA volunteer. I'm a court-appointed special advocate. I choose that purpose because I value children and I particularly value serving underprivileged children. And so I have chosen that purpose to be one of the purposes of my life is to use my time and my energy to serve underprivileged children.
Well, that's mighty good of you. But is that the only purpose of your life?
No, that is not the only purpose of my life. That is just one.
Do you have another?
Hmm.
Please share with us.
Okay. Another one I have is to try to achieve equality for the LGBTQ community. There are a lot of people in that community that are oppressed. There are a lot of people in this country that are trying to take away their rights. And so I advocate for equality for the LGBTQ community.
What do you mean by achieve equality? What do you mean? In the workplace or
Being
something?
allowed to have the same rights.
They already have the same rights as everybody. That, let's say in America, every man is
Oh,
equal.
no, they don't.
Well,
When
under the
you've got people
Constitution,
telling
everybody's
So
equal.
no, that's not even true. I mean, trans people in a lot of states are not even able to use the restroom that they for the gender they identify as. So no,
and
they're not treated
transgender
equally.
people have trouble getting health care.
But do they have restrooms?
You're cutting out
But
there. I
do they
couldn't
have
understand that.
Allowed
bathrooms?
to use a restroom?
No, no.
I
See,
support.
you're playing. If so, let me translate this to something that you might understand. Back in the 50s or so, there were colored water fountains and white people watered fountains. Now, both groups had water fountains, but it's the fact that they separated them out and like what they called colored people at the time couldn't use the white water fountains. And of course, the white people weren't going to use the quote unquote colored water fountains. And you're suggesting the exact same thing here. Oh, but they still have a place to piss and shit in. Does it really matter if you're going to force a trans man to go into the women's restroom? That shouldn't matter because they still have a pot to piss in. When that's not, you're totally missing the entire thing.
And that is exactly my son's problem. My son does not
I'm
feel
not
comfortable in a
missing it
men's
because
room. And he doesn't feel comfortable in a ladies' room either. He's perfectly fine in a gender neutral room, but not all places have a gender neutral restroom.
Yeah, but nobody's talking about black feminism. But we're talking
Nobody's
about biology, right? It's all about biology.
Oh my God,
No,
let's not get into
that's
this.
exactly
This
the
is too
problem.
late
It's
for this
not about
because
biology.
Why isn't
you
it about
understand that I was
biology?
giving you an
You,
analogy that I hope you would understand with the white people versus black people water fountains, right? Like that's an analogy
I
that
understand.
hopefully you can process.
I understand. Well, I can process, but you know, the last caller, you couldn't process his argument. He was talking. He was trying. He's a young kid, 16 years old. Do you understand the contingency argument?
I mean,
Yes.
I've been doing this for nearly 12 years now. So yes, I understand all the arguments and I understood what he was talking about.
Please explain the contingency argument.
I'm not going to sit here and regurgitate apologetics for you. I don't have anything to prove to you about the last caller. We're talking about your arguments for God existing. And your argument for God existing seems to boil down to, well,
my initial question wasn't about me proving to you if God exists. My question was, if God doesn't exist, what is the purpose of life? Well, Godless Granny,
And I gave you,
and then you,
and I gave you some.
LGBT rights and equality and being an advocate in the court. Do you think that's the purpose of life
Mike,
for
look,
everybody?
Mike,
Do you think that's the purpose of life for mankind?
I think the purpose of life and mankind is to make this world
Mike,
the best place that it can be.
wait, maybe it's coming back. Yeah, so Mike, Godless Granny gave you a couple of purposes for her life. So you specifically asked, if God doesn't exist, what is the purpose of life? And you asked both of us. I could give you any number of purposes for my life or whatever. Like, the point of the fact is that a purpose to life isn't dependent upon a God existing. So we've already answered that question. And then we moved on to asking you what you think the purpose of life is, if you believe in your God. And you seem to believe that God is the only one that can give life a purpose. And you spoke about it as if there was one purpose to life. But then you admit that there's multiple purposes to life. And then when we challenge that, you're back to there being one purpose to life or something like that. I don't even know how we got onto the LGBTQ, which I guess it was because you advocate for, well, both of us advocate for LGBTQ individuals, but or equality. So, I mean, I really don't know where in the rabbit hole we fucking are in this conversation, but we've answered your initial question. What we want to know is what purpose does God give your life, or what purpose does God give human lives?
Thank you for unmuting me. The purpose of life, Godless Granny, you were saying that what is the purpose of life for mankind?
Yes. The betterment of mankind.
What is the purpose of life for mankind? To do what? Sorry?
Just to live. Our only purpose is to live and to try to make life better for those around us and for ourselves.
What do you understand by better? Oh,
Why do I understand what?
What's your definition of better?
We're not going to get into these semantic games about defining every single word. It's like, what it depends on what the meaning of is.
You have a point.
I do have a point.
Is there something you actually, well, then go ahead and make your point.
I do have a point.
Well, make your point.
Well, I've just demonstrated, ma'am, with all respect, Godless Granny, that you just said the purpose of mankind is just to live. Well, that's a stupid purpose. No, we are already living. It's circular argument.
You're not a serious caller. You're not a serious individual.
The purpose of life is to worship God.
Oh, which God?
Well, then you go off and worship your God and have at it. What are you doing here? If your purpose is to worship God, go worship your God.
Well, I'm trying to spread the message.
Well, I thought you
So let me get this.
The contingency argument.
So let me get this straight. Jesus is not satisfied with you sucking his dick. So you have to advocate for other people to suck his dick. Sorry, I had muted him. I'll unmute him now.
Hello, sorry. I think you muted me.
No, yep. You're back on.
What was the question, sir? Hello?
I'm here. I'm just incredibly frustrated. I was just boiling it down to like, well, you apparently Jesus wasn't satisfied with you praising him, so you have to come and advocate and bother other people to get them to praise him. Is that it?
Well,
why is your God so insecure that he needs people to praise him?
I'm a Muslim.
Mike?
You're not a Muslim.
Excuse me?
Mike? Why is your God so insecure that he needs people to praise him?
John, did you just say you're not a Muslim?
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have done because you obviously can be a Muslim. I'm just sitting here
thinking about equality and rights, LGBT. That was so presumptuous, John. You should apologize.
You sound like you ride on a boat in the bayou and then you're like, I'm a Muslim. And so, yeah, my first instinct is like, you're not a Muslim. But I mean, obviously you could be a Muslim. I mean, that was a little out of line of me. Fine. But I'm just saying, like, you don't, it doesn't matter whether you're Muslim, Christian.
I appreciate that. Finally, I appreciate that, John.
Okay. So why is your God so insecure that he needs people to praise him?
It's not about insecurity, man.
Then why does he need people to praise him?
That's just your misunderstanding.
Why does God need people to praise him?
Well, what's interesting, Godless Granny, is you actually used to believe in a God.
Yep, so I did.
Are you saying that you did? Exactly. So are you saying that you're more smarter now, that you don't believe in a God?
More smarter?
I wouldn't say I'm smarter. I would say that I've come to realize that what I believed was incorrect. I definitely believe that I overlooked some of the things that proved that the God didn't exist.
Oh,
could you explain your...
Hold on. Sorry, I muted him. I just realized that he's calling from what has been identified as Virginia, but he says he's from Ohio. I feel like this guy's just lying. Like this is this is him just being a troll. Yeah, we have. And we
you guys didn't even hear.
Go ahead.
When he got online, he had originally wanted to be put in the queue as Mike Hawk and wanted you to introduce him that way. Stephanie didn't put Hawk as his last name. He said it at the beginning, but it didn't seem like either of you caught it. So he's definitely a troll.
I didn't catch it.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't see that. I only saw the Mike later. I remember seeing a Mike Hawk.
Yeah.
But I mean, anyways. Well, heathens, that's going to be it for this call today. If you want more of this kind of content, you can hit up the links down in the description to go and subscribe to The Line here on YouTube. We're always producing great live content where we take callers from people. We're also adding new shows all the time. So please go down there, subscribe to The Line so that you can get more of this kind of content. I'm not sure if this was 20 seconds or anything like that, but yada, yada, yada. Jimmy, go fuck yourself.